Hi, how are you? Thank you for stopping by or stopping by again. This is always the most pleasurable part is thinking that maybe somebody's watching me. But that doesn't really matter, I guess. I'm enjoying doing what I'm doing and even though sometimes I get a little depressed about nobody watching, I still enjoy doing it. So it's a beautiful day outside. It's about 10:30. Oh, it's almost 11 o'clock at night. I just put my garbage out. I haven't been out all day. It's absolutely gorgeous. I wish all summer would be 21 degrees. Absolutely perfect out there. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. I guess maybe somewhere around the 70s. I'll have to look these things up one in a while. When I was young and went to school, we were taught Fahrenheit and inches and feet, and then they switched to the metric system. And I thought, oh, I'm always going to use the imperial system. And nope, that doesn't happen because metric is so much easier. Trying to convert Fahrenheit into Celsius and vice versa. I know it involves something with 32 degrees and anyway, it's complicated and I don't like it. So metric is 10, 10, 10. You can't go wrong with the metric system. Plus, it's more precise. For instance, if you're measuring things and you're using grams, well, they're a lot smaller than ounces, so you're going to get a much more accurate measurement. But that's neither here nor there. I'm happy that you're here, though. So I'm continuing to work on the hummingbirds and lilies of the valley and whatever those pink trumpet flowers are. And yeah, I'm more than halfway done. I've only got maybe another 5 inches across the bottom, all the way across the bottom, of course. So I'm going to try to do that all in one video because, putting up video after video after video on the same diamond painting, I think bores people to tears. But what I do is I make the thumbnail the same color for each part of the diamond painting. So hopefully, I guess I'm color coding it, so hopefully you guys can find it. So I watched some really horrifying TV today, and I don't know why I did that, but it was about, it was a podcast actually, and it was about AI and what's going to happen in a few years, and it's scary. It's not nice, and I have trouble believing what they were saying, so I'm just going to not believe what they were saying because it's just too scary. But the world will go on, and hopefully whatever they're talking about, it's not a person issue, it's a corporate or a government issue, and we elect those people, so they should be protecting us. I hope you've all had a great day today. I've been thinking, I usually make a very simple type of bread, but I've been thinking, well, I've been watching some YouTubes on baking. Oh my gosh, some people have the best channels. And there's one guy who bakes all kinds of things. I think he said he's a former cook, and I can't remember his name, and I'm sorry. Shouldn't talk about people unless I know I'm going to talk about them, and then I can say their names. But he's British, or somewhere in the UK, and he's a former cook, he says. He doesn't say baker, he says cook. But he makes like meat pies and buns and bread, and oh my god, it looks so absolutely appetizing. And he made baguettes the other day, which reminded me of when I was young and trying to make bread. And I'd made bread before and it was fine. My parents made bread, my grandma made bread, so it was fine. And I forgot to put the salt. I made French bread and I forgot to put the salt in. Well, I don't know if you guys have ever had Eucharist before. That's the little wafer they give you when you have communion in a Catholic church. I'm sure other churches have something you eat. Anyway, it tasted just like that. It was absolutely the most bland thing in the world, so I ended up tossing it out because even salted butter wouldn't give it any flavor. Oh, and speaking of mishaps in baking, when I was newly married, not like newly married, but within the year of being married, I baked a cake. And I had picked up a Wilton's decorating book. Wilton, yeah, it's Wilton's decorating book. So I didn't know much about decorating. I mean, baking a cake is easy, right? You follow the recipe. But I didn't know anything about decorating the cake. Usually if we had cake, it was like a Victoria sponge, just white cake and jam sometimes. But if it was a fancier cake, the baker baked it. So I baked this white cake, and I was looking through this Wilton book, and they had something called royal icing. And I thought, wow, royal sounds like it must be the best icing. So, and it used an awful lot of icing sugar and stuff. Anyway, I was just following their recipe. And so I made the icing, and I put some dye in it. I don't know what color it was. I think it was blue. And I put it all on the cake, top, sides, all around. And I put it in the fridge. And my husband came home from work and we had supper. So we sat down to have dessert. So I very proud of myself, brought this cake out of the oven. And it looked gorgeous. It really did, as I remember it. But then I took a knife to cut it, and it was hard as a rock. So I smashed my way into it, and the cake, it was a shell. Royal icing is a decorative icing, and it's hard. You're supposed to make flowers and roses out of it. I didn't know that. It said royal icing. I thought it was icing. They should have said, named it something else for an idiot like me to understand. Anyway, the cake had actually shrunk inside, just while it was in the fridge, shrunk away from the sides and away from the top. It actually looked like a protective cover on the cake, but we laughed and we ate the cake and left the frosting sitting there like a cave. It was hilarious. But you know what? When you're young, you misunderstand things. And maybe if I was read the whole book and saw how they made the flowers, the roses, the decorative things that they put on a cake. Excuse me, I'm so tired. Anyway, so yeah, if you're ever baking a cake and you've never done it before and you want to put icing or frosting on it, don't use royal icing. It's unless you want to protect the layers, it will do that. My goodness. So I hope everybody has been having a great day. Geez, I don't know how long I'm going to make this video, but I'm doing the voiceover because if I start talking when I'm doing something, it takes me longer to do it. So these 12-minute things would just be maybe half an hour, but I speed them up to 12 minutes. Anyway, I'm going to say goodnight now because I think I really do have to go to bed. It's late and I'm yawning. So have a great day. And that noise that you might hear is actually my furnace, and I'm really sorry about that. But the furnace runs if this, I don't know what the video is going to be like. I might add music, I might not, but I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye now.